All right, how you guys doing today? We about to get into Acts chapter 17. First things first, though, make sure you like that video, hit a little exit full screen, scroll a bit, like it, and then full screen it back up. You feel me? I apologize in advance for my voice. I don't know what happened in the middle of yesterday. I might have said this in the last video, but in the middle of the day, my throat got dry. I said, oh, yeah, it's just strange. Whatever, things happen. It'll probably go away. I thought it was because I slept with my window open. My window wasn't open. So I said, all right, it'll probably go away by tomorrow. Today, it was even worse. I woke up, I had to blow my nose because my nose was running. I had to blow it for like the first time in who knows how long. I haven't had to blow my nose in so long. I don't blow my nose. That's just not something that my body does. Now, back in the day when I was very underhydrated, I used to have to blow my nose all the time. You know what I'm saying? The body just wasn't happening. But then when you start drinking water, you get hydrated. Trust me, your body just don't really get sick like that anymore. So that's why this is so concerning. I haven't been sick since I started hydrating myself properly. So I don't know what's going on. The weather's been consistently crappy here. And, I haven't been exposed to anything weird. I don't think. Maybe just somebody in their weird little germs. I don't know. And I said last time I'd have an evangelistic story. Didn't have one. But now I have one today. So today went to my first French professor's office hours. I went there just to talk about the tenses in French, And I went there just to talk about French tenses, which we did. And then he goes off on a little tangent where he's talking about why are you tired? And I'm like, well, I went to the gym before this. I got like 6 hours of sleep. He's like, oh, you have a girlfriend now? I was like, no, I like my blood pressure at a constant, stable rate. And he starts laughing and whatever. So, and I tell him about how I'm going to a conference next week of all the church kids based, you know what I'm saying? All the church kid conference next week. So if it were to happen, it would happen there. And you know what I'm saying? I'm praying. You feel me? But other than that, and he was like, oh yeah, you're one of them church kids, whatever. And I'm like, we've talked about this, bro. And he pulls up the article about the 50,000,050,000-year-old skeleton bones or whatever. So I just finished watching a video on how radiometric carbon dating for rocks and testing rock ages is wrong. It's all based on assumptive lies. I just finished the video now, so I'm telling you this now. And I gave him like the little watered down version earlier. And then this other kid comes in halfway through and he just kind of sits there and he says, well, I'm not really an atheist, but I'm more agnostic because something had to create this. Scientists get down to atoms, and after that, they can't decipher the whatever's going on down there. And I say, you're right. And then, so it just ends. And then the conversation ends, we go to class, blah, 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 blah. We had class, and that was that. So I did, technically. And I'm also bringing this up to everybody in the youth group later, see what they got, if they got a take on it or something. And whoever else, because high key, for my paper, this is exactly what my paper is about, how science is lying about the Earth's age and dinosaurs' ages and everything like that. Like the Bible ain't true and the Earth ain't 6,000 years old or something. But I need to know how an atheist thinks. So I kind of picked his brain. It was unintentional, but I picked his brain today. So I know exactly where they hit and hammer home, you feel me? So yeah. So I'm gonna try to evangelize to as many people as possible to see whose takes I can get on this and everything of the sort. And I really apologize for my voice. I don't want to sound like this right now. It kind of sounds the same. You might be saying, "Oh, you sound the same." Trust me, I hear the difference. When Paul and his companions had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where there was a Jewish synagogue. As was his custom, Paul went into the synagogue, and on 3 Sabbath days he reasoned with them from the scriptures, explaining and proving that the Messiah had to suffer and rise from the dead. This Jesus I am proclaiming to you is the Messiah, he said. Some of the Jews were persuaded and joined Paul and Silas, as did a large number of God-fearing Greeks and quite a few prominent women. But other Jews were jealous, so they rounded up some bad characters from the marketplace, formed a mob, and started a riot in the city. They rushed to Jason's house in search of Paul and Silas in order to bring them out to the crowd. But when they did not find them, they dragged Jason and some other believers before the city officials, shouting, "These men have caused trouble all over the world and have now come here." And Jason has welcomed them into his house. They are all defying Caesar's decrees, saying that there is another king, one called Jesus. When they heard this, the crowd and the city's officials were thrown into turmoil. Then they made Jason and the others post bond and let them go. As soon as it was night, the believers sent Paul and Silas away to Berea. On arriving there, they went to the Jewish synagogue. Now, the Berean Jews were of more noble character than those in Thessalonica, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true. As a result, many of them believed, as did a number of prominent Greek women and many Greek men. But when the Jews in Thessalonica learned that Paul was preaching the word of God in Berea, some of them went up there too, agitating the crowds and stirring them up. The believers immediately sent Paul to the coast, but Silas and Timothy stayed at Berea. Those who escorted Paul brought him to Athens and then left with instructions for Silas and Timothy to join him as soon as possible. While Paul was waiting for them in Athens, he was greatly distressed to see that the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with both Jews and God-fearing Greeks, as well as in the marketplace day by day with those who would happen to be there. A group of Epicurean and Stoic philosophers began to debate with him. Some of them asked, "What is this babbler trying to say?" Others remarked, "He seems to be advocating foreign gods." They said this because Paul was preaching the good news about Jesus and the resurrection. Then they took him and brought him to a meeting of the Areopagus, where they said to him, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting? You are bringing some strange ideas to our ears, and we would like to know what they mean." All the Athenians and the foreigners who lived there spent their time doing nothing but talking about and listening to the latest ideas. Paul then stood up in the meeting of the Areopagus and said, "People of Athens, I see that in every way you are very religious. For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I found an altar with this inscription, 'To an unknown God.' So you are ignorant of the very thing you worship, and this is what I'm going to proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth and does not live in temples built by human hands. And he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. From one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth, and he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being. As some of your own poets have said, we are his offspring. Therefore, since we are God's offspring, we should not think that the divine being is like gold or silver or stone, an image made by human design and skill. In the past, God overlooked such ignorance, but now he commands all people everywhere to repent. For he has set a day where he will judge the world with justice by the man he has appointed. He has given proof of this to everyone by raising him from the dead. When they heard about the resurrection of the dead, some of them sneered, but others said, "We want to hear you again on this subject." At that, Paul left the council. Some of the people became followers of Paul and believed. Among them was Dionysius, a member of the Areopagus, also a woman named Damaris, and a number of others. I want to take a bet now, y'all. Is this the Apollonia that Kanye was talking about? And them stronger lyrics, since Prince was on Apollonia. Apollonia Kotero was Prince's love interest in the film Purple Rain. And even this line right here, they're all defying Caesar's decree, saying that there's another king, one called Jesus. My French professor today tried to say that they arrested Jesus because he committed crimes. I said, what crime did he commit? Pilate couldn't even find something that he sent. Pilate sent him to Herod because it was Herod's jurisdiction. Herod couldn't even find anything to convict him of. Pilate couldn't find nothing to convict him of, and then they finally got him on like blasphemy or something. Yeah, on a charge of treason, bro. Like, he really didn't do nothing. Alright, so I can't really find anything on Dionysus. What about Damaris? And they say she might have been a high status prostitute or a follower of the Stoics. Oh, but Dionysus might have been the bishop of Athens. Who knows? Haha. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Go out there, evangelize. Oh, I forgot to say I was gonna go evangelize also. Well, maybe not evangelize, but also see how the atheists on my research team think later too, because I know for a fact they some atheists. Maybe not one of them. I told her that I go to Bible study, but we're gonna see. And I'm gonna tell them that science is wrong if they believe in science, and hopefully convince them of the word of Jesus Christ. And go out there, make disciples of all nations, ambassadors of Christ. We goosh. Alright, that's gonna be the end of the chapter. I hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.